we had to surrender for a purpose because we are natural leaders.
Yes, we are.
We know how to run circles around managing the home,
Yes.
managing our finances, managing our businesses, while our men just want to till the field.
Yep.
And make money.
Yep.
And just, you know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is.
Yes.
So, but the problem with, dating, unfortunately, a powerful woman at times is that she does not understand how to be powerful in the workplace. But when you come home,
take off the armor.
Take off the armor.
Take it off.
It does not belong.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and if you have not, click that button below. Make sure to get subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content, because we are bringing you real, raw, dynamic conversations with the intention of healing in the household, okay? It's as real as it could possibly get over here, and if that is something that you are interested in, make sure to join the family. Now, look, today we have an incredible guest on the show. Not only is she absolutely beautiful on the inside and out, I'm really just now getting to know her inside of her presence, but her reputation is as big as a titan, y'all. She's an executive producer. She is a creator. She is a podcaster. She is a mother. She is so many incredible things. She is soft-spoken, but ain't nothing soft about her, okay? Because she is serious about hers. Can we please give it up for Miss Belinda Sanders?
Yes, thank you. Amazing introduction. Like, can you follow me at every presentation and do that thing again?
Yes, girl, I got you.
That was awesome. Thank you,
I'm
Sarah.
so happy to have you on the show today.
Oh, it's definitely my pleasure.
Yes.
For
So
sure.
I have to ask you,
Yes.
if this season of your life were called It's Giving blank and you had to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say it's giving.
It's giving powerful manifestations
Ooh.
on everything.
Oh, break that down.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, I'm a Christian and I don't apologize for it. So I just like to tell people ahead of time.
Period.
So I believe that we have not because we just don't ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've been asking for a while for a couple of things. And, sometimes when delay shows up, it shows up for a reason. I believe that God allows us to experience delay so that we can grow through a certain season.
Come on.
So I recently, well, not recently, it's been 3 years now. I've been divorced. And everyone knows me, know that I'm the Miss Dear Future Husband lady.
Yes.
So right now, I was recently entered into my engagement and it's giving all things. And it's so amazing because, God has definitely given me double for my trouble. I had no idea I would have 2 engagement rings.
Yeah.
I'm having 2 weddings.
Yes.
I'm having 4 wedding dresses. So it's just giving and I'm not a person of excess. I definitely believe that God gives us abundance so that we can help the less fortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate of helping the poor and giving back and putting walls on schools and running waters in villages. And that's what I do.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes.
But I'm being okay with him just spoiling me right
Come
now.
on.
And it's just giving.
Absolutely. Because why not?
Right.
And if not you, then who?
Exactly.
I love that. So when you were manifesting your husband, what did it look like?
It looks like me just really working on myself.
What did you do?
I worked on myself, in real life. I wrote down every single solitary thing that I wanted in my man.
Yes.
And I held nothing back, child.
Girl.
I'm talking about his his bank account, his mindset.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie. There's some things I missed out on.
Okay.
I'm still praying about that. Everybody, he can't be perfect.
Right. Can't get everything.
But I took that list and I prayed about it, but I put it aside. And then I literally did what I teach in my book.
Yes.
I wrote down then everything I needed to be in order to have that experience, to stick around this time.
Yes.
Because Sarah, I'm that woman. I love love.
Me too.
I love love. I love family.
Yes.
I love God and I love marriage.
Yes.
And I'm not for the outside. Okay?
Girl. We don't like these streets, okay?
But I must say, I had fun when I was out there.
Yeah.
And my relationship coach told me, she was like, Belinda, you know what? If I can do a blueprint for how to date, it would be your dating experience. So you deserve this season that you're in.
Yes.
So I had fun. I'm not gonna lie.
What was the blueprint? Did you date? Do you believe? Well, at that time, were you dating multiple people?
I did accidentally because I started dating knowing that I'm a one relationship type of person.
Yeah.
But I also began, as I began to learn and work on myself and really start dating for the purpose of marriage or dating with purpose, I realized that I needed to set boundaries.
Yes.
So I'm a wife, Sarah.
Oh, me too.
So I'm dating these men that are not husbands. But I didn't know that at first.
Oh, we preaching already. Okay, jump back in. Yeah.
So I needed to get to know that. And I began to set the right type of boundaries in my life and realize, like, listen, you're a wife. You cannot be giving these men you as a wife. You got to give them you as a single person.
Yes.
So I began to pull back. And then I stopped committing to men that I was dating just because I liked them after 2 dates.
Right.
Yes. So I started, keeping my options open, and I began to date several different people at the same time.
As you should.
So yeah, but I didn't. If you asked me, as a matter of fact, on one of my podcasts previously, I actually told my guests, like, no, well, I don't believe in dating multiple. But even at the time, I was
thinking of it that way.
Right, I wasn't. But I do realize that it's a healthy approach for women that are serious about relationship and serious about, marriage. And if that man is serious about you, then he's gonna
do what he needs to do
himself to where you no longer need to date multiple because he's gonna be all those men.
Yes, come on. I was just having this conversation with one of my girlfriends. So I'm 35. I'll be 36 in July. She'll be 38 in July. And she is an incredible woman. She's successful. She's driven. She's ambitious. She's loving. She's nurturing. She's so many great things. And she had just been engaged, and that engagement didn't work out. And then she was in a relationship. And now she kind of feels like it's time. You know what I mean? And we were having the conversation of, it's like you have to throw away the timeline. You can't rush what God has for you. There is no right time. Maybe it's when you're 40, 45, 50, who knows? But as long as it's right?
Exactly.
And so I was telling her, because she's dating and she really likes a person.
Okay.
And I was like, are you in a committed, exclusive relationship? Because there are other men that she also, they might have a chance.
Right.
I think that, I'm not saying sleep with anyone. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying keep your options open until you know. Because it's like saving time. If I start to like someone, and then it's like I commit to this person and I'm exclusive with just this one person for a year of my life. And then I find out, you know what, I don't really like you. I just wasted, mind you, I got lessons, but I wasted a year. Thank you for the lessons, but I don't appreciate wasting my time, So if you keep doing that, you're just wasting time. But if you consolidate where it's, yes, we can go to eat. Yes, we can go to a smoothie. Yes, we can go to the gym. Yes, we can do all of the things. Not all of the things, but all of the things, with different people, then you have an opportunity to consolidate your time and powerfully choose. Because for me in my past, ooh, girl, I swear, I have always been the girl that chose the man that was the most persistent.
Oh, that's me.
The most persistent.
Is that bad?
No, it's not that it's bad. It's just that he wasn't the most aligned.
Oh, I got you.
So it was always like, I've been engaged twice, well, 2.5 times really. And I walked away from all of them, right?
Wow.
Yeah, girl, it's been a lot of experiences, but it's because they were the most persistent. They were the most consistent. They were the most, not because they were right and they made me feel safe, secure, respected, open, it wasn't that. It was, you're in my face.
Wow.
All the time.
So why not?
Yeah. Proximity had power over me instead of me having power over my proximity.
So I know you're married now.
No, I'm not married.
Wait, I saw beautiful pictures of you and a gentleman. Am I to... What is that?
That might be for skits.
Girlfriend. So are you currently dating multiples?
I'm currently off the market.
So you're not dating right now?
I didn't say that.
Okay, you're not saying. You're dating. Okay, great. I see. I will talk later.
I'm not married
now.
I'm single because I'm not married.
Okay.
But I'm
Understood.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. This is amazing. Like this is because you like we're like the same person because I promise you this is my journey. I promise you. I'm engaged now.
Yeah.
But that was my exact journey. I'm sitting here
Yes.
talking about love and how much I love it.
I
and-
love it.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm here for it.
amazing. Yeah, me too.
And I feel like I say this all the time, like it's so easy to be married and it's so easy to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
But finding that right partner that
Right.
makes you feel the way you need in your core values
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah. It
So
is.
I'm patient. I'm
Aw.
observing. That's where I'm at right now.
You know what? I can really appreciate that.
Mhm.
And it's so funny because that's the exact same journey that I've been on for
Yeah.
the last 3 years.
Yes.
But I had to get there. I had to get to where you are because after my divorce, I kind of dated and thought the next man was going to be my husband.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
So I had to, like I said, set those right boundaries. So
Mhm.
I love that for you.
Did you say single for the entire 3 years?
I did not.
Oh.
I was in relationship after relationship. I'm a relationship person,
girl,
so
yeah.
they got me caught up.
Yeah.
And then I would,
Yeah.
break up with them.
Yeah.
But before I did that, we were in full-blown relationships.
Yeah. That's me too. That's me too. This is the longest I've been single
Really?
since I was 15 years old. I'm never single.
So how are you enjoying this time?
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm having the time of my life.
Nice? It's
Yes,
good. It's
yes.
good.
And
Yeah.
I also feel like, men have a beautiful opportunity to show up
Yeah.
in a way that inspires a woman to eliminate all other options.
There you go.
That's
Period.
and so, I'm practicing what I told my girl. I'm not saying I'm dating multiple people, although I'm not saying that either.
Right.
I'm not saying anything,
Right.
but I am saying what I'm told my girl is consolidate your time.
That's right.
That's what makes the most
wisdom.
sense.
That's wisdom.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you're interviewing me, but I do have a question.
Okay.
How do you find it dating
Uh-huh.
and putting because you're a woman of faith, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so how do you find that? Is that like a priority to you? In
Finding
terms
a man of faith?
a man of faith or a man that respects God, loves God? And
Respects God, loves God,
Yeah,
yes, because
okay,
then he
yeah.
has a barometer of
Mhm,
integrity
mhm.
to something bigger than himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
yeah.
Now, does he have to go to church every Sunday? No.
right.
No.
Of course not.
No. But relationship, not just communication, but
Yes.
true relationship, meaning y'all
Yes.
know each other.
Yes.
That's important to me.
Yeah.
What about you? How high is that on your list of things that you had to have for your partner?
Well, for me, it's a little different because not to say anything bad about anyone, but just being completely honest with my story.
Yeah.
I compromised that in the past. It wasn't a big deal. And during my last marriage, I found out how important it is to be able, when things get tough, to be able to have a partner that not just that you can pray with, but that prays for you,
Mhm.
instead of praying on you.
Mhm.
So that's
Ooh.
important.
Oh, that was the PREY.
I mean,
Oh,
that's a real thing.
It is a real thing. That's a very
It's a
real
real
thing.
thing.
How long were you married?
Over a decade. Yeah, we actually knew each other. We dated about a year and a half.
Yeah.
After meeting, like right away, we dated right
Yeah.
out the door, and then we broke up for about 3 years, and then we were married for about a decade.
Wow. And had beautiful children.
Be 3 amazing children together. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
And it's great because we're good friends now. So yeah.
Really? So
Mhm.
co-parenting is easy.
No.
No.
I said now.
Right. Okay.
Which means we had to work towards that. I mean, he was really hurt
Yeah.
because of the divorce, but
Did you file?
I did.
They say over 70% of marriages or divorces are filed by women.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because we don't do the work at the beginning.
So
Again, like you said, we just marry the guy that's the most persistent.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realize we're not even compatible. Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so then we make a decision to stay together for the family. And then after a while, we're like, you know what? I'm going to choose me.
Mm-hmm.
And we do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. And see, but the thing is that I'm I stayed for grace. You know, I gave my marriage and I gave my ex-husband grace because I'm like, listen, I love you. Like, I loved him for real in real life. So I wanted it to work. I wanted us to have the picket fence, the happy family and everything. You know, we had a marriage ministry that we worked together, but I was never able to really share authentically what was going on with my marriage because I was the one helping to heal others. So that was a very tough situation to be in. But, you know, God took me through it and I'm here now. So
You're
I'm
here
grateful.
now and you're engaged.
I am.
And you guys have been together almost a year.
Yes.
But you got engaged in November.
We did.
So this happened fast.
It did.
Like 6 months in.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell us more. How did you get this man to propose? Or do you think it was a combination of he was already ready and you were being who you needed to be? Or was it you think you just inspired him to be ready?
I think I inspired him to be ready. As a matter of fact, so he wasn't looking to get married again, right? He didn't think that that's what he wanted.
Yeah. And
when he met me, his story is that he couldn't stare at me because he felt like I was the most beautiful woman in the world. And for me, you know, I know there's tons of women that's way more beautiful or equally as beautiful, but
you're gorgeous.
That's what I know. However, that's his story. And I love it. And I think that's so special.
Yes.
And it's just, he wasn't looking was the thing that moved me. And I had to say nothing about it. It was in 3 months. He was like, I'm never going to let you go. You're going to be my wife. And I just got to know what I got to do to be that man that keeps you interested. So,
you know what I love about that question? I love that he asked the question and I love that you already knew the answer.
Yeah.
Because you did the work on yourself to say, this is what I have to do in order to attract that kind of man.
Right.
What were some of the answers that you gave him?
In terms of like...
What did he have to do to keep you?
Well, just be consistent.
Yeah.
Just keep the thing that you did to get my attention is what you must do to maintain my attention.
Right.
Because I got a short attention span.
Yeah.
I got an attention span of a 3-year-old. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're boring, I'm going to exit stage left.
Yeah.
So I need that man that's going to show up as a partner, as a teammate, as a prayer partner. Like we're able to work together. You know, you support what I do, I support what you do. And, you know, this man is family oriented. He loves children. He loves my kids. And, you know, so that was important. He literally asked if he could meet my children and he asked them permission to ask for my hand in marriage, you know, not for, hey, can I marry your mom? But can I at least ask her? Because I don't know if she's going to say yes.
Yeah.
And so he knew that coming to, you know. Yeah. So
when did you know that was your yes?
After our first date, honestly. I could not let him know that though.
Of course not. No.
Of course. But it was just so interesting. Like on our first date, we went out and we had an emotional moment. Like he literally got vulnerable at the table and he asked me out for dinner. And it took me about 2.5 months to agree. And so our first date was actually at a very simple restaurant. We went to Olive Garden and it was lunch. I was like, well, let's try it with lunch because I had to make sure we vibe in person. Yeah. So after the conversation that turned into dinner, because we stayed there so long, he was like, do you mind? I'm going to ask you a strange request, but can I dance with you? And I was like, you know what? I feel the spirit of yes coming on. Okay. So I said yes. So we went outside and we stood next to his car. He turned on the most beautiful song by Drew Hill. These Are the Times.
Okay. Yeah.
And I stood there and he was very respectful. He did not try to, press his body on mine or anything. He held my arms like this. And then at the end of the song, I just kind of felt my head gravitating towards his chest. Oh. I was like, oh my God, I feel so safe. So it was one of those moments. And, of course he had to still fight for me. Yeah. And everything. But shortly thereafter, he asked me, he was like, I would love to be able to take you to on a trip, international trip. I was like, well, let's try something local.
Right.
I mean, what about like
Right.
Chateau Elan or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Let's
So
our
we
way to
tried
our
that, and then we went on, I believe, a second trip, and on our third trip, he proposed. But every single day, we were talking. Every single day, we were, we didn't see each other, but we
Yes.
definitely spent a lot of time on the phone, and it's just a different type of chemistry, and it's a different type of energy. And of course, I had to test him. I had to test his patience because, again, I have children.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in the spring, and my favorite fruit is watermelon, seeded watermelon.
Okay.
Only.
Yes.
And he lived near my favorite farmer's market. And one day he was with his parents, and he said, do you need anything from here? I was like, well, where are you? He said it was my favorite farmer's market. So I'm like, yes, seeded watermelon.
Mm-hmm.
So he drove over about 45 minutes to bring me the seeded watermelon. And then 2 days later, I needed another one, and he brought that one too. And then it was just that I needed to know that he was patient.
Mm-hmm. And he's a man of action.
A man of action, and a man of, listen, I'm not ego driven. I'm not gonna, like, you want a watermelon, sis? I'm gonna give you a watermelon.
Right.
So that was just a test, but he passed it.
Yeah.
And the entire spring, I had my watermelons, and it was just amazing. And I never had to go get it myself.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's the little things that are the big things.
The very little things.
Because essentially what that is number one, he's thoughtful.
Yes.
Number two, he takes action.
Yes.
Number three, he's a listener.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, he's a provider.
Right.
If you never had to go to get your own watermelon, that's him showing you, let me provide. Even if it's small, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly.
So if you could do it small, you could do it big.
There you go.
So if you're providing watermelon, who knows what else?
Well, I did get a new Corvette a couple of months later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Such a sweet. And then that's because I mentioned, I was like, man, I just love Corvettes.
Yeah,
it's not it's not the best type of car, but it's what I like.
What you like is what you like.
And I've always wanted one. And my best friend and I, like a year ago, we were actually going to go buy matching Corvettes. And so he heard about that story. And so one day he surprised me with a Corvette.
It's the thought.
It is the thought.
It could literally be socks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be any. I love that.
It's just, he's such a great guy.
Is one of your love languages gifts? Mine is. Shamelessly.
Yeah. And I don't care. It is what it is, because I'm a giver.
I'm such a giver.
Yeah. I'm always just giving, and I'm always doing for people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my requirements. Like, I need a man that's going to give to me.
Yes.
I need that, because I'm going to overflow you with gifts, generosity, and love. And I'm nurturing, and you're constantly going to get. I'm going to take care of your health. I'm going to take care of your mind. I'm going to take care of your body. Like, I'm a generous person. So I need a man that's coming aggressively to reciprocate that.
Yes.
So that's important.
And I feel like we live in a day and age where people will try to wrong you for the way that you feel loved.
Yeah.
I feel loved in all the ways.
Yeah.
So gifts is not enough. Let me be clear. However, it's up there.
Right.
And I just feel like I want it all. And I don't feel bad about saying that.
And you don't. You can absolutely have every single thing, because if that's what you're giving, come on. I've been, like, people that know me know that for the last 10 years I have been giving to charities. I've given over 6 figures for the last 10 years, just to help make sure that I'm that conduit for God. Like, if somebody's in need, God, you can use me. I will bless them because you've blessed me.
Yes.
So people know that, and unfortunately people take advantage of it.
Yes.
And God has had to give me wisdom to when to say no. So I've had to set boundaries around that for myself as well. So I do. So now it's a requirement for me. Like, I can't have a best friend that's not a giver, because I'm showering my best friend with everything for her birthday, So I don't. I need that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get me a pair of, like, a set of pens and, paper. It doesn't matter. I just need to know that I'm being thought of in that way.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It's crazy. Kenny and I were having a conversation on set here. We were talking about having a good heart.
Yeah.
And it's not even really about how big or grand the gift is.
It isn't.
It's just having a good heart for people.
Right.
And there are times where I will even put other people in front of my own necessity. And so God is still working on me. I haven't completely learned the lesson. I'm about 90% there.
Yeah.
But there are still times where if I got to swoop in and save the day, depending on who you are, it's no question.
It's done.
It's no question. Or if I gotta fulfill something that I know that I need to fulfill, but I'm not even all the way where I need to be at, I'm supposed to be doing this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I need to do every single time.
Yeah.
But I think that that's why our lives are blessed the way that they are, because it's not tit for tat. It's not, I'm looking to see what do you do for me. It's I'm going to overflow you. And naturally, if you have the right kind of man that doesn't have a hole at the bottom, he will overflow back into you. And now it's this infinity sign of giving and giving. It's like, who can outgive the other person?
That's exactly the theme of our relationship, out-serving each other.
Yes.
So my theme is, baby, I'm going to outserve you today. And he's like, no, you're not. You're never going to. I'm real competitive. You're not. Let's see, So, but that's
what
just
a beautiful
the theme
way.
of our relationship.
Yes.
Like, we work to outserve each other. I need to see that you are having great experiences in your life.
Yes.
And I'm intentional about that. I want to see and know that he's having good experiences and he does the same thing for me.
Yes.
But I didn't need him to do that for me first. That's just what I'm bringing to the table.
Period.
It's just who I am.
Yes. It's in your essence and energy.
Yeah. And it's like when
men notice that.
They do. And they especially when you have a man that's been taken advantage of in the past and have been with a woman that's probably just a taker. They want a generous woman as well. And so I had no idea that, because he's never, we had gone through, as a matter of fact, the interesting thing is that I just sat back and I received until we became engaged. I'm going to be honest with you. Until we were engaged, I just received. And he never complained. But now that we are engaged and this man is going to be my husband, it's like I overflow him.
Yes.
Like I buy this man clothes, shoes, you name it. I am overflowing him with abundance and with love and with generosity and with goodness and sweetness every day.
Yes.
So
do you teach that in your book?
I absolutely teach
to
that.
receive until you're engaged?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't, but I teach that. I do have a mentorship program for people that are looking to manifest their husbands and to work on themselves. I do teach that.
Okay.
I'm like, queens, we receive.
Yes. I agree.
We receive.
And I think that when you are truly in your divine essence, like your divine feminine essence, your of God essence, it inspires a man to want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask. You just state the need.
That's it. And the crazy thing about it is that he would probably beg to differ when I say that I just received, because I gave him so much of me.
Yes.
Like in terms of conversationally.
Yes.
Like he really enjoys our conversation, advice, just perspective. I gave him encouragement. I inspired him. I gave him words of affirmation. So I gave him and with who I am internally.
Yes.
But the gifts and the other showering with things didn't start until afterwards.
Well, we had Tyshawn Jackson from Hardly Initiated. You know that podcast?
No,
a great podcast. They have a lot of different experts that come on and they talk about everything from narcissism, gaslighting, sex, polyamory, monogamy, battling each other. Why be monogamous? Why be really great. Shout out to you guys over at Hardly Initiated. But Tyshawn came on, his episode actually dropped today, and he said, I don't want a woman for anything tangible.
Love it.
Ultimately.
Love it.
He doesn't want a woman for anything tangible. And I was literally like, wow, what a mature perspective.
It is very much so.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
A good man that wants a good woman. I've been quoting this all day. We saw in a video. Yeah. You can't outwork a good woman.
You can't.
But the thing is, it's not always laborious what the good woman is doing.
Right.
Sometimes it's her very energy and essence that she brings into a room that inspires things to happen around her.
Exactly.
Just by her being who she is.
That's so amazing that you would say that, because I literally had, because my fiance is a man's man, and like he hates me when I buy him things. So I can never say, baby, I bought you this. I always have to just hang it up in the closet, and so I had to kind of sneak it in. And that was one of the first things he said to me when we first got together. He was like, I don't like gifts. Please don't give me anything. So, but I do, because that's just who I am, right? And he's like, I'm getting used to it or whatever, But it's so interesting that like when we began to really get to know each other,
Yes.
the walls that he had that was like, I don't like gifts, I don't like, it began to soften, it began
Yes.
to like fall, and now he's becoming a great receiver.
Yes.
Because I think it's important that like if you're a great giver and you have these goals and you have these aspirations,
Yes.
it would behoove you to start receiving
Yes.
things. You know what I mean? Don't just live like, and nothing's wrong with that perspective. I love that perspective. But God has like blessed you with a giver as a wife, right? So be open to receive it. And again, like you said, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yes.
You don't know the blessings that you're shutting out by saying no to certain gifts and things like that. So like I tell people all the time, like I'm in the finance industry as a career. And so I've been an entrepreneur in my field for over 15 years. So I teach people like money management, proper management, and respect for money, because like if you don't have it, right, it's because it doesn't respect you.
True.
And if it doesn't respect you, there's a reason.
Yes, it's true.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you walked over a penny? I asked them that. And so if you can walk over a penny, but say you're looking to achieve your financial goals, that's a clear indication for me that you don't respect money. When's the last time you said that I don't care how much I'm making, I'm taking out 10% and I'm giving it back to a charity, or I'm taking out 5% of, after the 10% and I'm giving it to the poor? How are you really respecting money? Because if you're respecting money, then you'll respect that God put the earth in the universe, and it rotates around on an axis for a reason. I believe that is for an object lesson in nature to constantly remind us, as you give, you will receive. What goes around must come back around. So whether you're giving or the negativity, or a spirit of not enough, or a spirit of greed, or a spirit of no, we can't share, or whatever it is, that's coming back to you.
Yes.
So in the small things,
it's truly the big things.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wonder, for like when I hear, because I used to not even be able to receive, like I was a terrible receiver, literally terrible. And in some aspects, I'm much better now. Now I've started saying like I receive even compliments. People be like, wow, you're so beautiful. I'd be like, yeah, but my nose is big. I swear to you. Or people would be like, oh my God, girl, you're so whatever. And I'd be like, oh yeah. And I'd find something I hated about myself to minimize a compliment. And I remember I did this to one person in a seminar. I don't even remember what seminar it was. And they were like, you need to learn how to receive better. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, you just sit with what I just said. And he said, and if you can't just say thank you, like say, I received that.
Right.
So now when you give me feedback, when you give me a compliment, if you, whatever it may be, I receive that.
Yeah, me too.
That's where I received that. Thank you so much.
Thing, I swear.
Because it was hard to receive.
Yeah.
But the question for me comes up as, where was it that I chose to shut off from receiving?
Oh, wow.
Was it because someone gave me something and then tried to take it back? Was it because in this moment I received a gift and then they played me for it later?
Oh, wow.
Was it because someone tried to rub something in my face? So there's a reason why people will want to hold things over you. Even now there's gifts that I've given back where it's like, you don't get to hold this over me at all. I don't need it. You know what I mean? Thank you, but don't need it.
Yeah.
So I feel in my question would be, why are we not good at receiving? And the fact that you make him feel safe enough to receive says a lot about your spirit.
Yeah.
Because the trigger or the trauma or the experience or the vantage point that happened in the past no longer exists with you because he's receiving something different.
And you're absolutely right, because there was an experience that he had. Of course, I won't share his experience, but and there was definitely an experience, and we were able to talk it out, just like, and he was able to pinpoint, it started here.
Yes.
And I was like, well, can you receive the fact that you're no longer in that experience?
Yes.
Can you receive the fact that you now have an opportunity with me to recreate a new experience?
Yes.
And let this one be good.
Yes.
And let it be full of love, joy, and
Yes.
generosity.
Yes.
So we recreated that for him.
I love
So,
that. And to know that you're safe here.
Yeah.
You are safe here.
Like, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Especially for men.
Most men just don't feel safe.
Right.
You know, and honestly, most women don't create a space for men to be safe.
And that's very unfortunate, but yet we want to be married.
Oh my goodness. We want to be married, but we don't know how to be wives.
It's so funny. I just had this conversation with hubby the other day. I was like, I really appreciate that you don't just want a wife, but you want to be a husband.
Yes.
That's important to me. And he made me look at what my real desire was, what my real inspiration behind, like, do I really want to be a wife? He made me pay attention to that because that conversation never existed for us.
Yes.
Or existed for me, I should say.
Yes.
But he brought that to my attention. He was like, I want to be your husband.
Yes.
So,
and I like that he said
in that way.
Your husband.
Yes.
Not a husband. I want to be your husband.
Your husband. Because he didn't even want to get married.
Yes.
So I'm happy that I was able to inspire that in him.
Girl, my therapist, I always used to say, like, dear future husband. Like, that'd be like my thing. Like, dear future husband. And he's like, say my husband. To my husband.
Yes.
Hey, husband, you know who you are. Even if I don't yet, God knows who you are. Yes. Hey, husband, I prayed for you today. You know what I mean? Like, all of these little things, because if it's in the future, we're always chasing it.
Yep.
It'll never arrive.
Exactly.
But if he's mine, then he's mine. Now, transparently, and I probably shouldn't say these things on a public platform. I don't know why I do this so much. I got to get it together. But transparently speaking, I feel like I'm in a space where I know what it takes to be a wife. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And in my past experiences, I've shown up as wife. I've been so inspired to be in my feminine in different relationships where I'm baking fresh bread every weekend.
Ooh.
I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm never really going to be a deep cleaner. That's just not in my, I got cleaners for that. Okay. It's okay. Exactly. But if I'm inspired to do something, it's a little bit different.
Right.
And so, there's pieces and glimpses that I've had of how I get to show up in my marriage. And then I ask myself right now, do I want to show up as that person? And the truth is, right now, I don't know the answer.
Okay, that's good.
It's
that's
honest.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't, because I know the rules of there are certain things I know that I'm doing right now that I can't do in a relationship.
Exactly. There's rules of engagement.
Yeah, there's rules. There's rules to the game. And I'm like, do I want to, because, the options are endless out here. We got the options.
There you go.
But the question is, am I ready to show up the way that I need to show up to do the things?
Right. Right. And that's real. And that's good that you're asking yourself that, because that's something I also had to ask myself. And I literally, as a matter of fact, I think God was like, no, you're not. Because before I met my fiance, I was literally in the space like, you know what? I'm having a whole bunch of fun. I'm just going to be single.
Yeah. You sound like me.
I'm just going to be single out here. And God was like, no, you're not. Because I personally operate better.
Yeah.
In the confines of a marriage, or in a committed relationship. That's just me.
Yeah.
And so, but before I was here, I decided, I'm like, I like the fact that I don't have to cook for nobody. I like the fact that I get to go home and watch whatever I want to on the TV, not have to share the remote.
Yes.
My programs are my programs. So it was all selfish reasons that I had.
I have
and
a
what's
very
wrong
selfish
with that?
life. But though, I don't know how I don't, the thing is, when I am committed, when I'm in when I know and I'm in that zone, I don't know how to not show up in the most powerful way for my man. I don't know how. I don't like that whole pullback thing. And my therapist told me, he's like, Sarah, stop acting like a wife to these men that are not showing up as a husband.
Yes.
Same lesson.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't know how to not. Like, I don't know. And I said, well, what is the difference between a wife and a girlfriend? Because realistically speaking, if the only thing that changes is that we made a commitment under God and that we signed a legal paper, what's the difference?
There are distinct differences.
What would you say those are?
Okay, first of all, okay, for someone else that needs to be taught this.
Yes.
For a girlfriend, it's literally, there are boundaries that you need to put in place, right? you're not sharing finances.
Agreed.
As a girlfriend.
Definitely true.
He doesn't get to dictate where you're going. Like, you know what I mean?
Also true.
He gets to have an opinion and you get to choose to respect that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get to make certain demands.
This is true.
You know? In terms of, as a girlfriend, am I exclusive yet? If I am, prove it to me.
Right. This is true.
You don't get to have exclusivity without
no commitment,
a plan.
Yes.
Sir, I need to know your plan.
Yes.
Not just a commitment. Okay, how long you think you're going to keep me off the market without a plan?
Right.
Without like, prove it to me.
Yeah.
I'm from the show me state.
Yes.
Okay? And I understand my value.
Yes.
So unless you are coming and you are serious about taking me off the market, I'm still there.
Yes.
Just know that.
Yes.
So, I mean, those are wives, for one.
Yes.
Wives are going to come in and they're going to plan for your future.
Yes.
Because that's what we do.
Also so true.
Let me tell you that, okay, again, I'm a Christian and I don't apologize for it.
No.
But one of the things that I feel like I got from the Bible about Adam and Eve, the first woman,
Mm-hmm.
if you recall when she sinned in the garden,
Mm-hmm.
you recall, Sarah, what was her curse?
Knowledge, awareness, birth, childbirth,
Right.
pain during childbirth.
Right. Keep going. The thing that we all argue about, men and women argue about right now when you get
accountability,
married. Surrender. Yeah.
submission.
There you go.
Oh, yes.
That was a curse.
That she would always be under them. Yes,
There you
yes,
go.
yes.
But if that was the curse, what was it like before?
We were above.
Not just that, we were running things.
Yeah.
What happens to a good woman when she gets a good man? She takes over. We surrender to the purpose of the union.
Yes.
But we take over and we have the wisdom to understand how to show our husbands that, your ideal is amazing. And we make them think it's all their,
it's all their idea. I feel like I'm talking to myself right now, to be honest.
We have the wisdom to minister to our husbands in such a way to where he takes his ideas, our ideas, and it's amazing together,
Yes.
right? I'm not going to say punishment, but we had to surrender for a purpose because we are natural leaders.
Yes, we are.
We know how to run circles around managing the home,
Yes.
managing our finances, managing our businesses, while our men just want to till the field.
Yep.
And make money.
Yep.
And just, you know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is.
Yes.
So, but the problem with, dating, unfortunately, a powerful woman at times is that she does not understand how to be powerful in the workplace. But when you come home,
take off the armor.
Take off the armor.
Take it off.
It does not belong
in the home.
In that space.
No,
it does not.
It belongs on the battlefield, which is life.
Right.
But it does not belong in the home.
And we cannot, like, if I'm an attorney, I can't come home cross-examining my husband.
Right, girl. You are preaching.
Like, if I'm a boss, I can't come home telling him what to do.
No, and I don't want to.
I can sweetly suggest.
Yes.
And like you're right. If I'm a boss, I don't want, baby, you tell me what to do.
Tell me what to do.
And how to do it.
Oh, dear Lord. You know what is crazy? I got to tell you, you know what my therapist said? And it really freed me in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
My therapist said the difference between being a girlfriend and a wife is yours versus mine.
Ooh,
versus ours.
Good. That's good.
So there is no, this is our house.
Mm-hmm,
there is no, this is our car.
Right.
There is no, this is our, no. This is my house. This is your house.
Yes.
This is my car. This is your car.
Right.
We're going to take your car.
Yeah.
You're going to, when you start mixing the our things, that's when things start to go a little like delusional, to be honest, because now we're moving like, oh, everything is ours. And then if you break up, it's like, well, who are you?
Exactly.
Because you've been moving as a unit for too long.
Right.
So I agree. And I feel like there's something really powerful about submitting to a man. Now, I will say, I'm really strange in the dating pool, in the sense where, for whatever reason, and I don't know what the reason is, I choose based off of people that I know. Like, I've never, with the exception of my ex before my last, I've never just dove into a relationship. Okay. It's always like, you were in my my friend and I knew you, or you were someone that I knew, or you were a reference.
Yeah.
You know, I knew you somehow. I may not have known you really well, but I knew you somehow.
I'm sure that gives you a sense of safety.
Yeah. And also sometimes I was completely wrong. You know, there's been experiences where I've done it wrong.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning is that it's never been like, ooh, this man is so fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been that for me.
Okay.
Have you ever been challenged or tried with the attraction part of a person? Like, where does that rank? Like, do you think women are crazy being like, he's got to be fine, he's got to be 6 foot, whatever, he's got to have a bank account that looks like this? Do you think those things are crazy to ask for? No.
But I think it needs to be balanced. I think that we like what we like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because we get to really, truly have what we're asking for.
Yeah.
If we believe it, like, first of all, if we don't get it, it's because we really don't believe it. That's just how I feel.
I agree.
That. And I feel that we also need not to be delusional. Understand that there's a balance to that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's on the other side of that?
Yeah.
Let me see that full list, sis.
Yeah.
Like, it got to make sense.
Yes.
Okay. And also, I hate the conversation. What are you bringing to the table?
Oh,
as a matter of fact, girl, I hate that. It's so funny. My fiance, I heard him in a conversation. Right, he was talking to one of his friends, and he was like, "Yeah, man, but what's she bringing to the table?" He wasn't talking about me, obviously, and he was advising his friend. And I waited for him patiently to get off the phone. I was like, "Baby, do you realize you've never asked me that, nor have you ever approached me in that manner?" I said, and if you would have, then that would have been the end of our conversation. Like, no.
Yeah.
Clearly, if a man has to ask me that, is for reasons I won't even mention right now. So that's number one. So I just think that it's so important for a woman to understand too that you have to literally show up in the way you want for somebody to show up for you.
Yes.
And he's going to be the equivalent of that, but in a masculine form.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Not saying that he's going to mirror match you. I'm not saying that. You know, you guys should complement each other, clearly. Mm-hmm. But just don't be delusional. Just don't be realistic in what you're asking for. And ask for whatever you want, but just have realistic expectations.
And I think men know who they can try.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that question in my life.
Neither have I.
Never. I couldn't even imagine a man fixing their mouth to be like, "So what do you bring to..." If my very essence...
Are you blind?
Right. It's a period. Do you not feel nothing?
Do you feel nothing? Right. Have you not been transformed just being here?
Literally. The conversations that we're going to have will already change your way of thinking.
Well, it's going to alter your life.
Period.
Please, every single man, and I am very clear on this, every single man that I've ever dated, for any given, that I've exclusively dated, has never been the same again.
Period.
It's a transforming experience, and I know what I know what it is. So if you're not feeling the experience you're having, it's because there's something dead inside. So I will leave you to yourself.
If you can't, because you don't know. Right. And it's like that meme where somebody has like a broke down Rolls Royce and it's all dusty, and it's like you can't appreciate it if you don't know what it is.
And there you go.
If you think it's just the same old car, it is what it is, or having a diamond, or have whatever it is. If you don't understand the value of something, shame on you for missing it, but shame on me for trying to explain it.
Woo, sis.
What do I look like trying to explain to you?
I have been unable to articulate what you just said. I've just been like, I won't even entertain that with the response. Clearly, no one has ever asked me that. You know what? I'm lying. I am lying.
No.
It has happened to me. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend, this is when I first became single, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll date a little bit. So, girl, I went to a dating app. Her and we went to a dating app, and she was like, girl, you got to go, da-da-da. I think it was Hinge. And so my first date was an experience. It was also my last date on Hinge, too.
Yeah.
So it was my
first and the last.
This guy had the nerve. This was right after, God rest his soul, the late Kevin Samuels died. And yeah, I believe he was like one of his very faithful followers. And, so we were having a conversation and he was like, so what do you bring to the table? Very aggressively. I was like, so this conversation is over.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, so you think you're all of that? I was like, you don't? Okay, excuse me. All right, I'm going to leave. So he was very aggressive and he wanted to continue. And, I proceeded to like splash the wine in his face. But, I left because I was like, I see where this is going. Yeah. But I only did that because he literally grabbed me like that. And I was like, I can't believe I'm having this. I'm like, okay, no, this is not for me. The dating pool is, if that's what I'm bringing, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So I had to go back in the incubator for a minute.
Go back inside.
And not come back for a while. So, and that's the thing too. And I always tell my friends and also my mentees, I'm like, listen, you want to know who you really are? Go out and date for a minute, right? Because we're always going to attract to the level of our emotional health. Ooh. And clearly that experience communicated to me that I was not ready. Neither was I emotionally healthy enough to be out there dating. So I called my therapist again and just,
Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. I gotta say, I feel like a lot of the times I hear women say like, oh, dating is trash in Atlanta. I don't agree.
I don't either.
I think there are so many great men out here.
Absolutely.
That they have integrity and they're loving and they're thoughtful and they're kind. Yeah. And they do want to surprise you and love on you. Yes. And like everything is not a love bomb.
Right.
Everything is not gaslighting. Like sometimes women, we are the problem. Okay. Like sometimes you gotta look in the mirror. Okay. Really? And it's so funny because men say women don't hide from anything as much as they do accountability.
Ooh.
But in a lot of ways, I agree.
And it's so true though.
I agree.
You're right.
It's hard for a woman to say, you know what, I was wrong. Or you know what, you're right.
Right.
Or you know what, I don't even need to respond. Sometimes just say nothing.
Right.
Just
silence. Just listen.
Just zip it up.
Yeah. It's okay to just listen.
It's okay.
And just to receive.
Yes. Yes, because you'll learn something.
Right. That is so good though.
It's so true.
And it's really good. So here's the thing, right? I remembered when I first moved here, everyone around me was just people that worked for me. Yeah. Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't have any genuine friends because everybody is just yes, 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 yes. So I started being intentional about getting people in my life that were not yes people.
Yes.
That really just told me like, be your stuff safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just from a place of love, like, sis, I just want you to be better because that's what I'm going to give my friend
every single time.
And that's one of the things that I tell them. I'm like, listen, if you don't want the truth, don't ask me because I'm going to tell you because I really do care.
Yeah.
So that is a real thing. But I had to notice that
everybody don't want the truth.
They don't. But here, then we just can't be friends.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to hurt your feelings all the time.
All of the time.
I'm going to be mad because you're not telling me the truth.
Girl, and even if sometimes I'll ask permission, like, is it okay for me to, or sometimes I just shoot it straight.
Yeah, I don't ever, because if we're friends, you already know that I'm going to,
with love.
I'm bringing it with it. Of course, I'm never going to be aggressive and harsh and hurt your feelings like intentionally, but I'm going to call you to a higher standard.
Yes.
Please. And do the same thing for me.
Yes.
Because for me, it's like, if I'm in the same place that I was last year and you're my friend, you're probably responsible.
Yeah.
like we're on a growth journey.
Yes,
like
but we ain't growing.
Right.
Because if I'm still in the same space and we're super tight, then you're probably still in the same space. And that's not okay with me.
That's not cool.
At all.
Like we need to understand that there needs to be a line of demarcation in the sand.
Yes.
And we need to be able to look and say, this is where we were last year, but this year, I'm so serious about that, Sarah. Like in November, right after Thanksgiving, because I have to have my Thanksgiving dinner with my family, I've always gone on a fast for the last 12 years. And during that fast, you know how some people wait until the new year. I always start right after Thanksgiving and I do not stop until like March. So I'm on a transitional fast. I start with no food and then I transition to raw and juices and fruit juice and then one meal a day, but I'm fasting fasting because I'm going into the new year, Sarah. Like, I need to know, like, God, those lessons that were tough, don't let me repeat that. Like, what can I do to never go back there again?
Yes.
Because the only time we have to repeat the mistakes is because we refuse to learn from them.
Ooh, come on.
Come on now.
Yes.
And I just don't want to be that person. So if we're like if we're close, if we're in that, if we're, like if I'm your bestie, like if we're cool like that, sis, let's lock arms.
Yes.
And let me call you out on your stuff.
Yes.
And please call me out on mine.
Yes. Yes.
Come on. Because I can see 100 degrees. But if you're my sis and if we're here, we're doing this thing together, you can see the other 180 degrees behind me.
Yes.
So
and
together we make 360.
Yes.
And allow me to be that in your life.
Yes.
And when we are literally being that iron that sharpens each other's iron, we can then truly elevate.
Yes.
With each other's, encouragement, inspiration, and just being honest.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, don't talk about her, talk to her.
Yes. Yes. And I love that because it's literally like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
But it breaks glass. So you also got to make sure. You got to make sure that you got iron around you,
Can I just say that I love your brand of diamonds?
Isn't a thing, girl. Isn't a thing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Truly. I've said it. I feel like I literally feel like I'm talking to myself. Like when you're talking, I'm like, oh, this is so good.
I love it. Oh
yes. Really and truly. And I think that there's so much power inside of sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also so much power in letting go of people that are just not in alignment any longer. It's no love lost. It's no bad blood. It's just, I love you from afar.
And then that's the thing, right? Because those silken cords of affection that we just, it gets us to a place to where we can't let go because of love.
Yeah. And
it means making a tough decision, even in like relationships. Like I've had to move, like seriously, like, I'm sorry, not physically move, but like I've had to stop going to certain places to get away from certain relationships. Like while dating, I'm like, I'm no longer going to go there because I know he hangs out there. So I have got to remove myself from that environment to keep myself away from him, because if I know that if I'm around him, I'm going to still choose that. That's not necessarily good for me.
Yep.
So it's a real thing, and it's been tough. It's been a tough journey, but I have to be as hard on myself as I am on
others.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Absolutely.
Takes you to the moon and back, to the heavens. Right. I have to ask you, when you were dating, where were you meeting most of the men? Was it the Instagram dating app?
That's actually through friends. Really?
Yeah, see, it's the same.
That is so weird. I never really paid attention to that, but literally through friends. Because, but you know what? I met my fiance through Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I was renovating it was a new house anyway, but I wanted to just redo my floors and redo my furniture. So I took all my nice furniture and I put it on Facebook Marketplace, and it sat for like a year, and I knew that only certain people were going to try and buy that stuff. So finally I got a DM. Got a message on Facebook Marketplace asking about my high back chairs. And that's how we met. He came to my office. Of course, I never meet anyone in person that purchases anything that I have on Facebook Marketplace. So he met my assistant, and then he couldn't fit the chairs in his truck. So he was like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to rent a vehicle and I'll come back. And so when he came back, my assistant said, well, he's a guy. He said, well, hey man, do you want to meet B? She's here. She's the one who owns the place and blah, 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 blah. And he came into the office and he looked at me and he immediately started looking down. I'm like, he's weird, but okay. So yeah, that's literally how we met. We met on Facebook Facebook Marketplace. But again, he didn't know anything about me because I don't,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
It's very
Well,
interesting.
it's
but
very
everyone
interesting.
else, like the guy before that, I met through friends.
Yeah.
I met through another male friend of mine.
Mhm.
And he was like, hey, B, come to my event. So I went to Huntsville, visit his event, and I met his friend. And we were
Wow. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
most times it's like referrals.
And then
times.
it's so cool because as I'm thinking, every situation was like that
Yep.
through a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never been like
weird.
I met someone out. Oh my God, I think I like you. And then like we go together. Like, no, that's never. Even my ex before my last, I met him on a blind double date.
Wow.
Yeah. And like
That is so cool.
day one, we went for dinner. And I used to have all of these rules, girl. Every rule. I'm not going to no man's house because people are killers. I'm not
but that's kind of smart.
I mean, true. Yes. Vet the man. Okay. Vet the man.
Right.
But I just threw away my whole rule book with this man. Like we went for dinner. The four of us went for dinner and he was like, I live up the street. I'd love for you to come by and just continue the conversation. And I was like, yeah, okay. He lied. It was not up the street. It was like 25 minutes. It was in Malibu, right? Just beautiful home. And I'm not impressed by things.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it all and I've done it all at this point. I'm impressed by the man.
Right.
Now, if you have the things, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed by the man. And I remember he was showing me all of these things and on his, one of his, he really wanted me to see everything that he had at this point, at this house. But he was like, he did. And bless his heart, it didn't impress me. But what impressed me was he was talking about this, he had this certain kind of car. Okay. And in this certain kind of car, it had a certain type of wood. And the wood was blessed in Africa. And they shipped it to him. And then they had this blessed wood on the dashboard of this car. Or when he talked about the tiles and like the things that he talked about, it was like, it's not just about, let me buy this to have this. Right. It was like, no, this means something to you. And that was very attractive to me.
Oh, yeah.
And we stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning talking. I cried, girl. I was like, oh, this is my husband for sure. But I didn't know. But then he said, I was like, okay, I have to go home because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I lived in the South Bay in Los Angeles and he lived in Malibu. So I was an hour away from home. Oh, wow. And he's like, I want you to go home and I want you to pray. And I want you to ask God if this is for you. If it is, let's go. If it's not, let's not. And when I got in my car and I started my car, I always have a Spotify turns on, like one of my playlists from Spotify turn on. And oddly enough, Pandora turned on, which never turns on. And it played this song called Facts by her.
Oh, I love her.
And the song, I was listening to the words. I was like, well, I'd never even heard the song before.
Wow.
But it was very much like, if y'all know the song, you just got to go listen to it. Facts by her.
I will today.
Yeah, it's such a good song. And I was like, oh my, like, is this God? Is that you? And then I went home, I prayed and everything in me. And then anyway, the next day I was in a relationship, but I've never done that before. Like I had all of these rules. Like I had never done that before. It's always like, do I like you? How do we feel?
That is just so inspirational. So
yeah.
What happened?
Oh, I left. We were together for almost 3 years.
Oh, okay.
This is the thing. I feel like in that relationship, that's the most feminine I have ever been in my existence.
Wow.
Like in my existence. Wow. Just I felt very soft. I felt very safe until I didn't.
Yeah.
And I got glimpses of who I get to be. And that was that purpose of that relationship. Because ultimately we aren't in alignment.
Okay.
And so the funny part for me, and it's not funny, that's just the word that I choose is, I date affluent men. So a lot of the times people that aren't used to dating wealthy men only see the money.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're crazy to leave. Like, you're crazy. Are you sure? Like, I'm sure. Yeah. Because it's about so much more than the money. And ultimately it's about alignment. Can I get in alignment with your vision over my life? Wow. Because if I'm submitting to you as my husband, I have to fall in line with you because you've fallen in line with God. Yeah. So if I can't do that, then there's not enough things on the planet.
Right.
And I had all the things, you know, you want to talk about gifts, girl. I had 2 beautiful cars in the garage, like it was a thing. So I feel like, it was a beautiful opportunity to see who I get to be. And it was a beautiful opportunity to live that part of my life the way that I did. It was wonderful until it wasn't, you know, and I'm grateful for that man, but he's not my man. He was a good man most times, but he wasn't my man. You know,
what was your deal breaker?
Oh, there were so many.
Oh,
It was timeline. It was vision. It was just a lot.
Have you ever shared this story on your platform?
No.
I'm so nosy. That's why I have the Dear Future Husband podcast.
Girl, yes.
I'm going to tell my people to contact your people.
Yes, yes. Put it on, and we got the description below. Okay, we got you got to check out the podcast in the description below. But
oh my God.
Really and truly, I just so much feel like we have such a beautiful opportunity as women to not surrender our destinies, loving and listening to the wrong people.
Ooh.
You know, and I will choose me first. I will choose God first. And I will be single before I submit to a vision that I have no business in.
Oh.
You know?
Can I just congratulate you for that?
Thank you.
I'm so serious because like you said, we're just attached to the things and to what looks good rather than just surrendering to what is good.
Yes.
So like you said, alignment.
Yes. And I've done that before. My second engagement was very much... It was the perception. Girl, we were every hashtag. Black love, relationship goals, Black excellence, power couple. But in reality, it was very toxic. Very toxic. And so that was when I decided, and I think I was probably like 26, 27 at this time. That's when I had decided that the perception is never more important than the reality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How it feels is so much more important than what it looks like.
And you know what, Sarah, I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody's like, Belinda, you know, what's going on? You're not posting, you're not doing this, and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, because I just need to be accountable to me.
Yes.
What's important to me, because everybody's so excited about my wedding. I'm like, no, my focus is my marriage.
Yes.
Can I get to know my man in a way that feels good? Like, it's just, we are having so much fun.
Yes.
And there are no cameras.
Yes.
And literally people are like, can we bring the cameras? I'm like, only for this.
Right. Right.
Like, honestly, and I'm just having a great time. Just, you know, he's enjoying me. We're enjoying each other. And there's like, I share parts of it on social media, but we do so much stuff that is social media worthy, and we don't share a thing.
I think that's best. I'm popping out married or engaged.
Yeah, that was me.
Like, as smart people know, girl, I am single, broke, and ugly. Okay, I don't know what to tell nobody. I'm popping out married or engaged. Like, you won't see my man.
They didn't even know I was in a relationship,
girl.
I posted nothing. No elbows, no shoulders, no sneakers, no nothing until it was a
Yep.
And then I let him do the announcement.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, we probably can't say what he said on this podcast. But it's on my social media page.
I will go look. We're going to pull it up. Okay.
He talked to all the N-words.
Oh,
yeah. All the N-words. He was like, I know she didn't tell y'all, but yeah, that's right. She's engaged.
That's mine. That's me right there. That is me.
I was like, what he said.
I love
my femininity, like, what he said.
And that's the best place to be. That is the best place to be. And I think that when you're patient with your process and you trust God, when the speed comes, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's what this is.
And when he does it, it doesn't take long. Because again, like you said, alignment, like, it's so funny. The things that were important to me are easy for him. Like, it's not things he has to work for.
Yes.
And I just said to him a couple of weeks ago, I was like, baby, you know what? I said, God really favored you and me because the things that you need are things that are just easy for me. Like, I just love loving on you and it's not work. You know what I mean? It just feels good.
It flows.
Like,
it oozes.
I'm not saying that we don't have to, you know, we're not working on just making sure that our lives, you know, we are able to coexist together and equally. And as things are, like, we're in marriage counseling, we're in Bible studies, we're praying for baptism together, like all the things, like, we're doing all of those things, but the things that from day to day Sarah, they're so easy.
Yes. That's when you
Like
know.
we fall asleep on our, binge watching our Netflix shows, like our
Yes.
Star shows. Like right now, we're finishing season 2 of Spartacus, and we watch Jim and Carrie Evans from Marriage Today every day in the morning. We have our prayer times in the morning. We have our fun times. We have our date nights. And we are literally, because for me, I'm a stickler about order.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that God can't bless a mess.
I agree.
So there needs to be order. So I try not to.
I ain't looking at nobody. I'm just looking out right now in this moment. Sorry, back to you.
So I try not to, because I'm a Capricorn. I can be, you know what I'm saying? I can be a certain way.
Yep.
So I try to surrender that. So I go to him. I'm like, well, baby, so how do you like breakfast? And you know what I mean? How do you, instead of saying, okay, so on Monday we're having, and on Tuesday, because when you have a big family, that you have to have a plan for everything. So my children, they know Friday night is family movie night, 7:00 is worship time. 7:30, I'm tucking you in. Like, that's just me. I have to have order in order for it to function for me. You know what I'm saying? So we're working on that.
I love that.
But it's just, it's work. But it doesn't feel like it because these things come easy to me and it comes easy to him.
Yeah.
So it's just so amazing. I'm like, God, I don't want to thank you too much yet.
Right.
Because we're still,
you're on the way. You're getting there.
No, but Lord, I do believe that the things that were big concerns for me, He has checked these boxes, and that's just who He is. So I'm grateful.
I love it.
Prayerful.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to shift gears here. I'm like, I'm only looking at my phone because I have notes here that I get to ask you.
Okay.
So this is a fun part of the show where we talk about a scenario that I give you, and based on the scenario, I'm going to give you, it's giving something positive or it's giving something negative, and you have to tell me which one you would choose and why. Okay.
Wow, that's very interesting.
They're very cute. Okay, so okay, this one's cute. I've asked this question before.
Okay.
This is before you're engaged.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a whirlwind romance. You are just hitting it off. He is saying the right things, walking the right way, chivalrous, kind, thoughtful, everything, right? And you're like, I am so into this man. He plans a date for you. You go to a 5-star Michelin grade restaurant.
Okay.
And he orders a filet mignon. It's giving, oh baby, I don't know if I can do all this. Or it's giving, oh, my baby just needs some more exposure. He tried to do something really nice.
Door number 2. And you know what? I'm such a, and it's because I always like to see the good in people. I mean, I'm not saying that we're a match. You know what I mean? We may not be a match, but it's given so sweet. It's giving that I love the effort. It's giving that you have a great heart. And thank you for pouring into me. I don't know if I'll see you next week.
Right. It's giving. It's giving something sweet.
It's giving something sweet.
That's really sweet. Okay. Next question.
Okay.
Let's say you're with a guy, whirlwind romance. He's on his best behavior. Again, chivalrous, kind, sweet, thoughtful, pays attention to details. And then you see the women that he dated in the past, and they are, for lack of a better term, non-ambitious, not very well kept. You could tell their discipline may be lacking in different areas. And you're the first woman of your caliber that he's dated. It's giving, I cannot be your learning curve. Or it's giving, well, everyone can grow and change.
It's giving, you're out of your league.
I agree.
It's giving.
I can't be your first one.
No. Go be somebody else. And if we're a match, it'll
come back around. It'll come back. I agree with you because it goes back to the value thing. If you don't, why have you never done this before?
Right.
And
you just really, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything, but you were way out of your league because,
Yeah. How do you maintain something of value if you don't know how? You know what is funny? I have such a this is an example, and not that anyone is better or worse.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying. We just use adjectives like didn't necessarily take the time to take care of themselves or discipline, or we all know these types of people, and that's fine for them if they love that. I love that for them. But I remember I had family visiting. And I, in a certain type of car, there's certain things that you do and don't do, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you've never had a luxury vehicle, you will pull your suitcase out of the car. And a lot of the times your luggage will scrape the car, the paint, the whatever it may be. And I remember I was so upset, like you can't just rip your bag. You have to lift your bag, get someone else, or you lift the bags out of your car because you don't know any better.
Right.
It's not that you did anything wrong. It's that you don't know any better. And I feel like if you don't know any better in a relationship, now I'm the learning curve.
Right.
And I'm getting nicked and scratched and essentially ruined because I have to be your learning curve.
Right.
And I just don't want to sign up for that.
How you do anything
is how you do everything.
Period.
Girl.
And those little things are important.
Very important.
Like I will sit around and I will just watch you.
Yeah.
How you treat, like, I mean, men, always say that they watch how women treat waiters and how kind are they to the people that work for them or maybe less than them or whatever.
Yeah.
How are you giving to them?
Yep.
But we do the same, or we should do the same thing.
Yes.
We need to look at these men.
I looked.
And see, and because I went on a date before and he was so, what was it? Not the waiter, I'm sorry, the valet worker. He was rude. Go get my car, son.
Oh.
I'm like,
this is the last time you'll ever see me.
On everything. Like, you're on block right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that. Like, you have to be kind. Oh, and then another guy, like, we were on the phone and he's driving up and then someone came up to the car while he's at a red light and said, can you please help me with lunch? He was like, not today. And just, I said, well, did you not have any change on you? He was like, yeah, I got money right here. I said, so why did you say no? We'll never work because you'll be mad because of how much I give to the poor.
Oh, say that.
Like, we will never work.
Yeah.
So, like, little things like that. I ask questions. As a matter of fact, my next book is 30 questions to ask before you go out on a date with that man.
Good.
Because that's important. Don't waste your time,
important.
sis.
Don't waste. Is that what it's called? Don't waste your time, sis.
Oh, actually, no, but I like that.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We consolidate time.
Yes.
We got to learn to consolidate our time.
I'm telling you.
Okay, final question. This has been so good. I'm like, it just flew by. Goodness gracious. I'm over here looking at the time.
Fun.
Yes. Okay, so here at It's Giving, we believe in evolution and growth. We believe in self-awareness, self-love, self-respect, self-appreciation, self-discipline. And one of the easiest ways that we know to do that is through reading or listening to books.
Yeah.
So what book has changed your life and why?
Who moved my cheese? Okay.
That's a
but
good
let me tell you the most impactful book. I'm going to be, God. This is so tough because I'm a reader.
Me too.
Have you ever read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson?
Oh, yeah. The little things.
I'm just going to be honest with you. That outside of the Bible.
Yeah. Okay? I thought you were going to say the Bible first.
I literally, that's why I was like, okay, because I promise you.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Bible.
Yeah.
But on like secular books,
yes,
it would definitely be Jeff Olson, The Slight Edge.
Yep. What gives you the slight edge on other people?
Because we think that, okay, well, you know what? I'll eat this cheeseburger today.
Nope.
And it's
it
just
compounds.
Because you are not noticing an extra 5 pounds today. But if you do that repeatedly over time, you will end up in a health scare nightmare.
Yes.
Because it's going to be those small things. So just like it's important for us to be consistent with our goals and consistent in who we are when no one else is looking. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It's also consistent to make sure we're staying away and taking care of ourselves internally.
Yes.
People ask me, like, all my children, they've never tasted meat. They from birth vegan, like, because that's a whole nother story, because I was told I could never have children.
Yeah.
I was like, devil, you're a liar.
Right. Wow.
So I've given birth, and I kept giving birth. And then after 5, I'm like, okay, God, are we
I'm
finished?
done.
I had to ask permission.
Complete.
I'm
Right.
like, are we finished?
Yeah.
Like, I'm good now.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yes,
Okay. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It's going to be the little disciplines that you do every day that's going to result in the long-term success. The success that you can actually pass down, that becomes a legacy. That now you can will away to your children. Those are the disciplines. And so often we think that success are tangible things that you can pass down. No, success are the things, the lessons that you teach your children, and you teach your family, and you teach the people that come in contact with you, that alter the course of their lives.
Yes.
That, to me, is success.
Yes.
It's altering the course of someone's life.
Yes.
And I believe that I've been an impact if I've left you touched, moved, and inspired. And if I have failed to do that, then I've wasted your time.
Yes. And
I live by that. So definitely, Who Moved My Cheese? I'm sorry, you just said one. Who Moved My Cheese?
They're both great
Slight
books.
Edge.
I like the Slight Edge. I don't remember if it's Slight Edge or if I'm thinking of the Compound Effect. I've read both, but
it's the same
both.
concept.
Yeah. The compounding penny.
Yeah.
That's the story that I think of. Like, would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 31 days? You know, and it's like, most people would be like, give me the million.
Yeah. Not understanding
the value of compounding.
Yes.
Like, everything compounds.
Yes.
We are compounding, positive or negative.
Yes.
And if you don't know, it's probably negative.
Yeah.
Right? Our mindset compounding. Our life set compounding.
Yeah.
Our health set compounding. Everything is compounding, positive or negative.
I love
So I love that book. It's a good book. I haven't read that in a minute. I think it's been like 10 years since I've read that book. I got to go back and check it out.
Yeah. My daughter, Bella, she's reading that now. It's a Slight Edge.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm reading The Art of War for Women right now.
Oh, wait, for women?
Yes, girl. It's so good.
I've actually got to go get that.
It's so good. And it's good because it's true in the sense where most women, we have no idea how strategic we are by nature.
Yeah.
Because we have to or we die. Like, if you think about men are bigger, they're stronger, they're this. So we have to learn other ways to be successful.
Yeah.
But if you were intentional about using those ways with relationships, with business, with love, and you're just being way more intentional with your life instead of, like Napoleon Hill says, being a drifter.
Right.
So I'm really enjoying this read. And it all comes down to really understanding your opponent. Yeah. Because it's better to win without fighting.
Right.
And you can't win without fighting unless you truly understand your opponent.
Wow.
Who's obviously and probably on the defense to begin with.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
Great book.
Girl, I am going to get that book today.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh my God, Miss B. Sanders, girl.
Aww.
We'll put all of your details below, but I just want to say thank you so much for today. You absolutely killed this episode. You are a blessing. You brought the information about how to be more feminine, how to be godly, how to be loving, how to be kind, how to make sure that you're giving back the things that are important to you. Like, you touched on so many beautiful topics that there's going to be so many gems. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing your grace, your love, your poise, your impact, and your inspiration with our audience today.
Oh,
yes.
Yay.
And guys,
this has been awesome.
Yes, if no one has told you today, first and foremost, please make sure, if you've made it this far, click that button below, get subscribed, hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you, but you got to do something about it. Let's get it, y'all.
Bye.